Hi, hope y'all are doing well. Welcome back. I have finished a couple of projects recently. They were on the smaller side. I finished a scarf for myself, a scarf for my friend. I've got a scarf in the making right here for somebody, but I currently don't have a little knitting project. So I really want to get some measurements done so I can order some yarn because I am itching to start a project. So I'm really looking to start the Ellie bonnet by Kiss.rhinestoness, the Ideal sweater by Lapole, and I also want to start the Matilda mittens, but I at least have some yarn here at home already that I could use for that one. It's already like end of February, it's almost March, today's February 27th, so let's see how much I can even have an opportunity to wear a sweater for the rest of the season anyway. But honestly, I don't have enough time, I don't think, to make clothes or items for the summertime. Most of what I'm interested in is winter garments anyway. Even if this project takes me a while to complete, I have some time. I'm in no rush. So I need to spend a second to go over the patterns and look through, compare prices. Maybe you can find it on sale somewhere. So all of the yarn is ordered. Just as a heads up, if you are someone who is interested in doing the Ideal sweater by Lapole, that yarn was really not that expensive. I think the unfortunate thing, it was just that the shipping was expensive. Basically, there were two options. You either paid $15 for shipping, which for international isn't all that bad, but you didn't get any tracking with it. And then it took anywhere between 7 to 30 days to like get to you. The other side of it though is you could get it faster and have tracking, and then it was like almost as expensive as the yarn was. But I mean, unfortunately, I think that's just what you end up having to deal with if you go the recommended yarn route, or if you end up using a pattern that is by someone who lives in Europe. I feel like some of those things they have access to are just a little bit easier. And I wish the yarn was also sold somewhere else, or maybe somewhere on a US based website, but it was like the in-house brand. In the future, I would love to make another Ideal sweater, especially in another color. But at this rate, I spent the money on it this one time, but I am definitely gonna have to look for alternatives for future orders. I am still just like a little bit too new. And even though I have some basic foundational knowledge in terms of just like crafting a garment or making something, I really don't have a good understanding of doing yarn substitutions. I'm just not totally sure how that's always going to work. So if you yourself are an experienced knitter or crocheter or fiber arts person, and you have some tips on how to do yarn substitutions for any future projects, I'd really appreciate it. I know that there's a lot of information out there, but there is so much information that sometimes it is a little bit overwhelming to me. Doing things like yarn substitutions for like gloves or hats or scarves is never something that is intimidating to me, but especially going into making like my first sweater, I really did not want to do that to myself. I was very worried about making an expensive mistake. Sitting down and looking at yarn today took a little bit longer than I thought. I am off to grab a drink with some friends who I have not seen in a very long time. Look at my buddy. This is my new cat, Saturn. This is her first appearance in the vlog. Hi, baby. More to come on her later. Last night, while watching the new episode of Severance, I started making some mittens, the Matilda mittens from Loose Creations, which I mentioned in one of my project wish lists that I wanted to do this year. I have seen things on TikTok about how people make one mitten and then they don't have the energy to do the other one. So I figured I would do one part at a time. So in this case, I'm doing the cuffs because you bind them off and sew them. And then I'm going to do the cuff of the other one. And basically just wherever I have to do that kind of thing. Whenever I do one step, I do it on the other. As long as I am able to. One thing I'm really learning that I'm recognizing I don't have the greatest skill set is hand sewing and joining my pieces. Look how ugly that looks. Oh my god, it looks so bad. I haven't done that many projects that required me to do a lot of putting pieces together. So I better learn how to do that before I start getting into like making garments. I have been really into Hello Kitty Island Adventure and I really need to download it on my Steam Deck. So I have this much done. Today I started the second cuff and then got this far in the mitten as well too. I really wish that I could keep going and keep crocheting, but unfortunately my wrist joints are starting to feel hot. And like not like in a fun way, but like in a wrist pain kind of way. It's so unfortunate because I was really hoping to just like sit around and get this done. Crocheting is causing a lot more wrist pain for me than knitting is. And it might just be that I might mostly be a knitter going forward. I really like crocheting and it's what like got me back into a lot of this stuff. It's just I always get a sore wrist, where knitting I can go like all day and I have so much less problems, and I have a very, very relaxed hand while I'm doing it, especially because I'm a musician. I grew up being a musician. So body awareness and joint health and all of that is something that is extremely, extremely important to me. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'm gonna have to look into it. For now, I'm gonna take a break and I think I'm gonna play some Hello Kitty Island Adventure because I think that'll be really fun. I don't have a ton of time because I have quite a lot to do today, such as organizing and cleaning and things like that today. But my yarn has arrived. I already poked my head into the Hip Knit shop. The one that I ordered that I told you was like almost as expensive for shipping. Well, I'm really disappointed because like I looked at their Instagram and I really like their shop. Their packaging is like really cute. It's so beautiful. I love it. It's so fluffy. And I love the texture. So this stuff is like 38% alpaca, 27% Highland wool, and 25% nylon. So glad they came to me. I would love to order from them again, but I would love them to have a third option of shipping, which is tracking, but go ahead and let it take a long time. I don't need it to get here from Norway in 4 days. And then this yarn I ordered from a small shop in Brooklyn. This is the Kremke Silky Kid Soul Wool. And this is in the color Cherry. I only needed one roll of this. Oh my God, it is so soft. I am using this for the Ellie bonnet by kisskiss.rhinestoness. I only grabbed one roll of this. The pattern said I would be using significantly less than one roll of yarn, so I'm putting my trust in the pattern. Okay, I have never worked with like mohair like this. And this is like a mohair and silk blend. It's 72% mohair, 28% silk. I see so much about how mohair is like really itchy, but this is really soft. Oh, it's probably because it has silk in it. Should have thought about that. As for my first mitten project, this is how far I am. So I have the palm, wrist cuff, and the thumb done of this. And then on this one, you can kind of see I started the palm / mitten part of it. That's the update on these. I'm gonna keep working on them, and I'm gonna keep going to do my chores. It's actually been a couple of days since the last time I filmed, but check it out. The mittens are done, you guys. I love the way they turned out. I've already blocked them. I steamed blocked them last night. I just like pinned them to some knitting blocks. This is the first time that I tried the waistcoat stitch. One thing that it doesn't really have is a lot of stretch going this way, which once I blocked it, has become much less of an issue. But in my gloves, I still sometimes just, you know, like to stretch my hands out. But overall was really quick. And if I hadn't been dealing with the wrist issues that I've been dealing with, I think I could have easily gotten them done within like a day and a half, but I just had to take so many breaks. The next step in these mittens are going to be brushing them out. I actually decided that I wanted to take a pet brush, and this is just one that I use just for my yarn and my projects. This is something that I've seen a friend talk about, a really good friend that does a lot of crocheting to give a different texture to her yarn. And this is also something that I did for a Christmas present as well too. So I did most of the brushing yesterday. I just finished this morning. I literally just had like one side to do, but I love the look of these brushed out so much. The pattern does call for like a fuzzier yarn. You can absolutely do what I did, where you just sort of grab whatever acrylic yarn you have around and then take a pet brush to it and then brush it out. I decided not to brush the inside of the mitts. I was kind of trying to figure out if that was something I was going to do, but I have decided to just brush the outside and keep the inside normal. The only bummer is that it's like 60 degrees today where I'm at, so, and we're about 10 days away from the first day of spring. So I don't really know how much I'm going to be wearing these much more for the season anyway, but it doesn't matter. I am happy to have them done. Now, something else that I finished, and this has now been steam blocked, is this scarf right here. So this is the scarf that I finished. I love it. I love how it's this sort of grid pattern, and because of the way that you crochet it, one side is different than like the other. I can't remember off the top of my head the name of the creator that I got this pattern from, but I will put it somewhere here. But it was a YouTube video tutorial that I saw, gave a couple tutorials for a few different projects that you could get done like around Christmas time or whatever. And this is my issue. This is why I talk about yarn substitutions. I definitely maybe picked a yarn that was maybe a little bit more thick, because if you compare how big my waffle pattern is from the original creator, you're gonna see quite the difference. But it's fine. It's still so soft and it's so comfy and it's very plush and it's very warm. Last thing I want to do today before I wrap up this vlog is that I want to open up my sewing machine and get some oil in there, clean some things out. I am not looking to do any of the sewing projects that I was planning to quite yet. I do have some items that I need to fix, slash hem, and having my sewing machine working will be really great for that. And if I can test some stuff out today and make sure everything works well, then I can verify whether or not I need to actually bring mine to my local sewing shop to do more of a full servicing. Now, I have never done this before. I have owned my sewing machine for years at this point. To be honest, I barely even change the sewing needle that's attached to it. Oh my God. I'm gonna take a second and pull up a YouTube video. Every time I've seen a video of it on TikTok, it never looks like it's actually that bad, and I only have to oil like 1 or 2 spots. So fingers crossed, let's do it together. Hopefully this will encourage you to take care of your sewing machine too. I just cannot believe how easy that was. And that video I watched was only 6 minutes and I could follow along so easily. I just searched the make and model number of my sewing machine. So I have a Singer 2277. While I was cleaning, I was thinking about how since I started filming this video, I have finished all of my whips, which I'm so shocked about. I have nothing on any set of needles right now, crochet hooks or knitting needles. But thank you all so much for hanging out with me while I did all of my yarn stuff, working on all of my projects. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one because we are gonna be taking what is most likely my final trip to Joann Fabrics. But I know that I gotta make sure I go there at least one time before they shut down. So stay tuned for that. But until the next time, y'all, please take care of yourselves, be kind to one another, love each other. And we're gonna see you soon. Bye.